Ah, silence. It's funny how the world fears it. People can yell at you, tear you apart with words, but when you respond with nothing, when you deprive them of the reaction they so desperately crave, they lose control. They're like dogs barking at a stone wall, frustrated, powerless. Look, my friend, people think power lies in words, in the ability to get to you, to make you falter. They believe it's in the insults they hurl or the control they pretend to have over you. But let me tell you something. Their power is an illusion. It's smoke and mirrors. It only works if you allow it. React, and you give them the fuel they need. Remain silent, and you leave them breathless. The metaphor of fire. Think about it. Have you ever seen a fire? It roars, burns, consumes everything in its path. But take away the oxygen, and what happens? It dies. That's what your silence does. It suffocates the flames of their control. Every time you hold your tongue, every time you refuse to give them the satisfaction of your pain, you are cutting off their air supply. And I know what you're thinking. But isn't that weakness? Isn't that letting them win? No, 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 no. Silence is not weakness, it's restraint, it's power. The strongest man in the room isn't the one who shouts the loudest. It's the one who remains unshaken while chaos unfolds around him. The story of the lone wolf. You've been through this, haven't you? The betrayals, the lies, the people who smiled at you while sharpening the knife behind your back. They wanted you to fall. They wanted you to beg, to crumble. But here's the truth. They can't accept that you're still standing. Let me tell you about a wolf, a lone wolf cast out of the pack. The world sees him as weak because he's alone. But this wolf learns to survive on its own, to hunt without help, to endure the cold without warmth. This wolf becomes stronger than the pack could ever imagine. And when the time comes, this same wolf can destroy the very pack that abandoned it.
You, my friend, are that wolf. You don't need them. You don't need approval, pity, or false love. They want you to chase after them, to beg for attention. Show them nothing, not a word, not a glance. Show them your back as you walk away. That's where your strength lies, in refusing to play their game. The chess game of life. People will call you cold, insensitive. Let them, because they will never understand what it took for you to survive. They didn't see the nights you spent alone, the tears you wiped away when no one was looking. They didn't hear the battles in your head, the ones you fought just to keep going. And you know what's funny? The same people who mock you, who try to break you, are the ones who fear you the most. They fear silence because it means they don't matter. It means their words have no weight, their actions have no consequence. Silence is your shield, your weapon. Let me explain. Life is like a chessboard. Every move, every reaction is a piece you give up. Show anger and you lose a pawn. Show fear and you give up your queen. But stand still, keep your silence, and you deliver checkmate without moving a piece. Think of the greats, those who truly changed the world. They didn't waste energy arguing with fools. They didn't stop to explain themselves to those who wouldn't understand. No, they moved silently. Let their actions speak, and when they struck, it was decisive. The lesson of water. Here's the thing. People will try to control you because they're afraid of losing control over their own lives. They project their insecurities onto you, their fears, their failures. They want you to carry the weight of their own failure, so they don't have to face it. Don't fall for it. You need to be like water. Water doesn't argue with the rocks in its path. It flows around them, over them, through them. She carves her own path silently, persistently, and in the end, she shapes the very stones that tried to stop her. So here's my advice. Let them talk. Let them conspire. Let them try to break you, but show no reaction whatsoever. Their power ends where your silence begins. Stay away from the noise, the drama, the chaos. Focus on your path, your goals, your strength. And when the day comes, and it will come, when they realize they couldn't break you, they will fear you. Not for what you said, but for what you didn't say. Not for what you did, but for what you became.
Loneliness versus solitude. I know what you're thinking. What if it hurts? What if the silence feels like loneliness? My friend, that's where they tricked you. Silence isn't loneliness, it's solitude. There's a difference. Loneliness is when you're begging someone to fill the void. Solitude is when you've learned to fill it yourself. You need to learn to enjoy your own company, to become your own fortress, your own kingdom. When you're truly comfortable being alone, no one can use isolation as a weapon against you. And believe me, they will try. They will abandon you, ignore you, cut you off, just to watch you crumble. Don't do that. Stand taller. Smile through it. Do you think the sun cares when the clouds block its light? No. It waits patiently. It knows the clouds will pass, that its warmth will be felt again. You, my friend, are that sun. And the people trying to block your light, they are temporary, fleeting. The story of the man who won in silence. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who was ridiculed, mocked, left aside. They said he would never amount to anything. They laughed at his failures, at his pain. And you know what he did? He remained silent. He didn't fight back. He didn't try to prove them wrong. He let his work, his determination, his success speak for themselves. And when the day came, when he was at the top of the mountain, they were the ones begging for his attention. But then he didn't need them anymore. He had already won. That is your future, but only if you master the art of silence. Silence is not passive, it is active. It is a choice, a discipline. It is saying, I don't need your validation. I don't need your approval. I am enough as I am. The world will try to say otherwise. It will yell at you, shove its insecurities in your face. Don't listen. They don't know your story, your struggles, your scars, and they never will. Because you owe them nothing, not your pain, not your joy, not your energy. Scars as metals. Ah, scars. Let's talk about them. You have them, don't you? Physical, emotional, mental. They try to use them to break you, to define you. But scars are not weaknesses. They are medals of honor. Proof that you survived what should have destroyed you. Wear them with pride. Let them remind you of what you overcame. And when they point to your scars, when they try to use them against you, just smile. Because those scars terrify them. They remind them of your strength, your resilience. They remind them that you went through hell and came out the other side. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your survival. You don't owe them an apology for your silence. Let them think. Let them speculate. Your assumptions are not your burden.
Anger versus indifference. And one last thing, don't let anger consume you. I know, it's tempting. They hurt you, betrayed you, lied to you. Anger burns, doesn't it? But anger is a double-edged sword. Use it wisely. Use it to fuel your determination, your success, but don't let it control you. Because the ultimate revenge isn't anger, it's indifference. It's looking at the people who tried to break you and realizing they don't matter. Not anymore. Never. When you get to that point, when indifference replaces anger, you will be truly free. Silence as a strategic weapon. You know what's funny about silence? It's not just defense, it's a weapon. People think words cut deep, but silence? Silence is the blade they never see coming. Have you noticed how uncomfortable people get when you don't respond? They fidget, stammer, try even harder to provoke him. Why? Because they are afraid. Afraid of the emptiness his silence creates. Afraid of the reflection they see in him. Imagine a man standing in a crowd, everyone shouting at him, mocking him, demanding his reaction. But he remains still, his face calm, his eyes steady. The crowd gets louder, more desperate, and then, one by one, they fall silent. Why? Because they realize their words have no power over him. That's what you need to be. A stone in a sea of noise. Still, untouchable. The discipline of self-control. They will call you arrogant, cold, insensitive. Let them. They cannot understand the strength required to remain silent in a world that thrives on noise. They don't see the discipline it requires, the self-control. Silence is not the absence of emotion. It is the mastery of it. It's about knowing when to speak and when to let your silence scream louder than any word ever could. But don't get me wrong, it's not about being passive. Silence isn't about hiding, it's about choosing. Choosing what deserves your energy, your attention. Most people, not worth it. They don't deserve to hear your pain, your story, your truth. They will distort it, use it against you. So protect it, guard it well. Think of your silence as a safe, and inside it lies your power. Don't open that safe to just anyone.
Actions speak louder. When you choose silence, you force the world to listen to your actions, because actions, my friend, are the loudest language. When you stand up, when you succeed, when you prosper, despite everything they've done to you, that's when you speak, not with words, but with results. Look, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It won't. The world doesn't like people who don't follow its rules. They'll try to break you, force you to conform. They'll say, why aren't you standing up for yourself? Why aren't you fighting? But here's the truth. They're not looking for answers. They're looking for weakness. Don't give it to them. You need to understand something about people. They're addicted to control. They want to control how you think, how you feel, how you react. But silence takes away that control. It gives the power back into your hands. The silent warriors. Think of the greats, the warriors, the leaders, the legends. They didn't waste their breath on the opinions of lesser men. They didn't stop to explain themselves to those who couldn't see their vision. They kept moving forward, focused, relentless. That's what you need to do. You have a storm inside you. I can see it. It's raging, tearing you apart. But that storm isn't your enemy, it's your power. Harness it, channel it, let it fuel you. Because storms don't apologize for their destruction, and neither should you. Here's another thing most people won't tell you. Silence isn't just about ignoring the noise around you, it's about silencing the noise inside you. Those voices in your head telling you that you're not good enough, that you'll never make it. Silence those voices, drown them with action, with progress. Calm waters, immense depths. Have you ever heard the phrase,
calm waters run deep. That's you. Calm on the surface, but underneath, depths they can't even begin to comprehend. That's your strength. They'll underestimate you because you don't show your cards, because you don't react the way they expect. Let them. Let their ignorance be your advantage. But don't let your silence turn into isolation. There's a difference. Silence is a tool, a strategy. Isolation, that's a trap. Build your circle carefully. Surround yourself with those who understand your silence, who respect it. Not everyone will understand. Most won't. And that's okay. Quality over quantity, always.
Silent movements change the world. Remember this. Every great movement begins in silence. The most profound changes, the most powerful revolutions, they begin in quiet moments, when no one is watching. That's where you are now, in silence, building the foundation for something bigger. And when the time comes, when you've built your empire, when you've reached the heights they said you never could, they will realize their mistake. They will see that your words, your noise, your games were nothing. They were dust. You don't need to announce your plans, your dreams, your struggles. Keep them in suspense. Keep them thinking. Mystery is power. Let your silence speak for you. And when you speak, make it count. Every word, every action, make a statement they will never forget. The long game of chess. When you step away from the noise, from the chaos, don't look back. The past has nothing new to say. Focus on the path ahead. It's yours to carve, yours to conquer. Look, silence is more than just a reaction or the lack thereof. It's an art, a strategy. But like any weapon, it needs practice, patience, because they will come at you with more force when they realize you're not playing their game. They will dig deeper, push harder, testing every limit until you break or prove to be unbreakable. That's the beauty. Silence forces them to show their cards while you remain untouchable. Life is a great game of chess. Every move matters. Every reaction is a piece you sacrifice. Most people throw away their pawns without thinking. They react to every provocation, every insult, every taunt. And before they know it, they are cornered, without moves, without power. But you are not most people. You play the long game. Mirrors and reflections. They will hate you for it, you know. Your silence terrifies them because it forces them to confront themselves, their insecurities, their fears, their failures. When you don't react, when you don't give them the validation they crave, they are left alone with their own demons. And believe me, that's the only thing they can't handle. People are like mirrors. They reflect what you give them. Show anger, and they will return tenfold. Show fear, and they will feed on it. But show nothing, show silence, and they break. They shatter under the weight of their own emptiness. It's ironic, isn't it? The louder they scream, the more they reveal how powerless they truly are. And the quieter you remain, the more power you have. That's the game. That's the secret. The internal battle. But don't think for a second that silence is easy. It's not. It's a battle, even a war. Against them, yes, but also against yourself. Against the part of you that wants to fight back. Scream. Fight back. You need to master that part of yourself. Control it. Tame it. Because once you do that, you become untouchable, unstoppable. Have you ever heard the phrase, speak softly and carry a big stick? That's the essence of silence. You don't need to shout to make an impact. You don't need to fight every battle to win the war. Save your energy for the moments that matter. Let your actions speak louder than their noise ever could. And speaking of actions, let me say something about them. Actions, unlike words, leave no room for doubt.
Words can be distorted, misunderstood. But actions? They are undeniable. Build in silence, reveal with impact. Build, create, grow in silence. Let them wonder what you're doing. Let them question how you're still standing. Let their curiosity gnaw at them. And when the time comes, reveal your masterpiece. Not out of resentment, not out of revenge, but because you owe it to yourself to be everything they said you couldn't be. You know what all silence does? It gives clarity. When you stop reacting to the noise, you start to hear yourself, your true self, your goals, your dreams, your purpose. The world tries so hard to stifle that, to distract you with its chaos. But silence? Silence cuts through the noise. It brings you back to what matters. It's like being in the eye of a hurricane. The storm rages around you, screaming, tearing everything apart. But in the center, stillness, peace. That is silence, a refuge, a sanctuary. And from this place of stillness, you can see everything clearly. Your enemies, your allies, your path ahead. But here's the trick. Not everyone will understand your silence. Most won't. They will see it as weakness, as indifference. They will try to pull you back into their noise, into the chaos. Don't let them. Protect your peace as if your life depended on it, because it does. And when they say you've changed, when they accuse you of being cold, distant, insensitive, let them. They're right. You've changed. You've grown, evolved. You are no longer the person they could manipulate, control, destroy. You are stronger now, smarter, more focused. You have become the storm they tried to escape. And the best part? They will never see it coming because you didn't announce it. You didn't warn them. You let your silence speak. And when it spoke, it roared. My friend, the next time they come with their games, their lies, their noise, remember this. You don't owe them a reaction. You don't owe them an explanation. Show no reaction at all. Their power ends where your silence begins. And in that silence, you will find something they will never understand. Freedom. Freedom from their expectations, their judgments, their control. Freedom to be who you are, without apologies, to live life on your own terms. Because in the end, silence is not just a tool. It's a statement, a revolution, a promise to yourself that you will not be broken, not by them, not by anyone. Be the wolf, not the sheep. Be the silence, not the noise. And remember, your silence is not just the absence of words, it's the presence of power. It's the loudest thing they will never hear. They don't deserve your pain. Keep it to yourself. Use it to build, to rise, to conquer. And when you do, when you reach the top, look back, not to boast, not to feel sorry, but to remind yourself that silence was the key all along. Go, not with words, not with anger, but with purpose. And let your silence do what it does best, speak louder than their noise ever could. Because in the end, their noise is temporary. Their opinions are fleeting. But your silence, that is eternal. That is unwavering. That is you.